The Galactic Council chamber hovered in silent orbit above the dead world of Viex, a symbolic place chosen to remind every species what unchecked war could do. Delegates from 100 civilizations sat within fields of light, their true forms masked by holograms that translated instinct, posture, and emotion into something vaguely understandable. They had convened to discuss a rumor, though no one wanted to admit fear had summoned them. Reports had arrived from the outer observation arrays, scattered across light years, all telling the same impossible story. A fleet was moving without respecting established laws of physics. It did not slow near gravity wells, it did not distort local spacetime, and it did not trigger shield harmonics when passing through defensive grids. At first, the Council dismissed the reports as sensor ghosts or data corruption. But the reports kept coming from independent systems, from automated relic stations, even from extinct empires whose machines still watched the dark. The fleet ignored shields, passed through time dilation zones unchanged, and emerged from interdicted regions without losing mass or velocity. Admiral Sevrak of the Threxian War Clades slammed a clawed limb against the light table, demanding an explanation. The science delegates answered with silence because there was none. Every known drive required reaction mass, energy exchange, or spacetime manipulation, and this fleet showed none of those signatures. Then came the first confirmed visual. A mining outpost at the fringe of Council space recorded silhouettes against a pulsar flare, long angular ships moving in absolute formation. No exhaust, no radiation bloom, no shield flare, just motion, pure and deliberate. Worse still, the outpost fired upon them. Layered defense shields, capable of stopping supernova fragments, activated, and the fleet passed through as if the shields were fog. Kinetic rounds struck hulls and vanished without impact, not deflected, not absorbed, simply erased from relevance. Moments later, the outpost ceased transmitting. Not destroyed, not damaged, just silent, as if it had been removed from the timeline entirely. Panic rippled through the chamber, despite emotional dampeners. Someone finally spoke the name none of them wanted to say aloud. Humans. The Council had underestimated humanity before, but this was different. This was not faster drives or stronger weapons. This was a fleet that treated the universe like a suggestion rather than a rulebook. And it was heading inward. When humanity first joined the galactic community, they were mocked for their obsession with limits. Speed limits, energy limits, theoretical limits. They spoke endlessly about breaking them, as if physics itself were an adversary to be defeated. What the Council failed to understand was that humans did not see physics as law. They saw it as precedent. After centuries of war and survival on a hostile world, humanity reached a conclusion most species never dared consider. If the universe was consistent, it could be exploited. If it was inconsistent, it could be bullied. The breakthrough did not come from propulsion or weapon research. It came from philosophy. A human research collective proposed that reality was not a fixed structure, but a negotiated outcome, stabilized by observation and expectation. They called their theory conditional existence. If enough mass and intent moved with unified purpose, the universe would choose the path of least resistance, even if that path violated its own rules. The first test ship vanished. The second arrived before it departed. The third did both simultaneously and returned with data that made every equation obsolete. Humanity did not refine the technology. They abandoned the concept of technology entirely. Their ships no longer forced movement, they asserted arrival. The fleet that ignored shields, time, and physics was not powered. It was declared. Each vessel contained no traditional engines, only massive coherence cores, devices that aligned every particle, system, and human mind aboard into a single vector of intent. The ships did not accelerate, they insisted the destination had already occurred. Shields failed because the fleet never interacted with incoming energy. Weapons missed because the fleet existed where the weapons were not. Time manipulation failed because the ships experienced events in the order they preferred. Human commanders described it simply: "We arrive, therefore we were always there." The first true demonstration came when the fleet crossed a region sealed by temporal mines, weapons that erased seconds, minutes, or entire causality chains. The mines detonated, and the fleet passed through unchanged, because the explosions occurred after the fleet had already passed from its own perspective. Humanity did not deploy this fleet for conquest. They deployed it for certainty, a guarantee that no force in the galaxy could ever again threaten their species. And now the Council faced the reality of that guarantee moving toward them, calmly, inevitably. The Council mobilized everything. Ancient automated armadas awakened from millennia of slumber. Star fortresses aligned along probable approach vectors. Reality anchors activated to enforce causality within entire sectors. The fleet arrived anyway. Council sensors showed contradictory data streams. The human ships were detected entering the system after they were already present. Weapon locks achieved targets that no longer existed in the same frame of reference. Admiral Sevrak ordered the opening barrage. Energy sufficient to crack planets surged forward. From the human perspective, the attack occurred in a discarded possibility, one they chose not to occupy. Council ships began to vanish, not exploding, not breaking apart, simply absent. Not destroyed, but removed from the sequence of events that led to the present moment. The terrifying part was the restraint. The human fleet did not advance aggressively. They repositioned with mathematical politeness, placing themselves where Council forces would be, then allowing reality to resolve the contradiction. Reality chose the humans. One by one, the Armada ceased to exist. Histories rewrote themselves mid-engagement, records adjusting to accommodate a universe where those ships had never launched. Crew members blinked out, leaving empty command chairs and unanswered orders. Finally, the humans opened a channel. No threat, no demand, no display of dominance. Just a statement delivered simultaneously to every species in every language. We have learned how to arrive where violence cannot follow. We are here to ensure you never need to learn the same lesson the hard way. The Council had no response, because the battle had never truly occurred. From the human point of view, it had been resolved before it began. In the aftermath, the galaxy changed. Not through conquest or occupation, but through expectation. Wars became smaller, then rarer. No empire wished to attract the attention of a fleet that could arrive before a conflict justified itself. Humanity did not rule the galaxy. They supervised inevitability. Their fleet appeared only once more, when a coalition attempted to recreate conditional existence without understanding the cost. The experiment collapsed its own timeline, and the human ships arrived to prevent the damage from propagating. They did not punish the offenders, they erased the mistake. Over time, other species began to adjust their philosophies. Power was no longer measured in weapons or territory. It was measured in how gently one could exist without forcing the universe to resist. The fleet that ignored shields, time, and physics became legend. Some claimed it still patrolled the edges of causality. Others believed it no longer needed to exist, having convinced reality itself to behave. Humans, when asked how they achieved such dominance, always gave the same answer. We stopped asking the universe for permission. And the universe, tired of arguing, finally agreed.